So you want to learn how to stay connected to the internet while you're in Iceland. I mean, who doesn't? You have to upload the day to your Insta stories, call your sister and tell her about that awesome waterfall you saw, all the things. Well, then you are in the right place, my friends. Hey, my name is Jeannie and I've lived in Iceland for 8 years, so I've rounded up all of the ways that you can stay connected during your trip. Let's get into it. Now, the first way is to set up an international plan with your home cell phone provider. This way is pretty simple. All you have to do is call up your cell phone provider company and say, hey, I'm going on a trip to Iceland. These are the dates that I'll be out of the country, so I need international coverage. The nice thing about this is that it's easy to communicate with your home cell phone company, right? Compared to another alternative that we'll talk about later. But in case you have any questions about your bill or you have any data overages that you need to settle up, then it's easy to communicate that way. The downside of this option is that it can get very expensive. It's likely that you're gonna have to pay per line per day. So each person would need to have this coverage on their cell phone, or possibly you only have one cell phone that you're relying on during your trip. The other downside is you could be limited on things like data, so calls, texts, gigabytes to the internet, things like that. So those things can tend to go pretty quickly, especially if you're in Iceland for a long time. The next option is to buy a SIM card when you arrive in Iceland. This one is super easy. It's simple. All you have to do is open that little slot on the side of your phone, like with, that tool that they give you with your iPhone or a little pin. All you have to do is pop out your SIM card and swap it out with the SIM card in Iceland. You're instantly connected to the internet and you can go and travel about the country. Note, if you are going to do this option, you do have to make sure that your phone is unlocked. And by that, I mean in the US, I know that a lot of cell phone companies will lock their phones so that you're locked into that provider rather than switching to another company. Just know if your phone is eligible for that before you make this decision. Another benefit of this route is that it is pretty cost effective. You'd have to compare the prices and how much data you want to add to the card and everything like that. But in general, the price of a SIM card is going to be less than the international plan, which is, again, per line per day. The downside of this option is that it is another stop that you have to make before you're on your journey. So after you get off the plane, get your luggage, before you get into your rental car, you'd have to stop and grab this. And then also, if you are traveling with multiple people and you want to go this option, then you still do have to have one per person per phone. It could add up that way. And if you are taking this option and wondering where to find these SIM cards, there are a couple different ways that you can get it. Number one, I do know that Icelandair sells them on board, of course, subject to availability, but you could get it that way. Or once you arrive in the airport and go through customs and all of that stuff, you come to the arrival hall and there is a place on your right-hand side that's called 1011. They have SIM cards and Duty Free has SIM cards as well. There are a couple different ways that you can pick that up on your way out. Now, before I move on to the next tip, if you want to learn about the arrival process at the main international airport, then you are going to want to make sure to click the link in the description box below. I have a free guide that will help you easily arrive on day one. This guide will walk you through step by step from walking off the airplane to getting through customs and on the road. Now, on to the next way to stay connected in Iceland, and that is using your rental car company. The benefit of this route is it's pretty easy and convenient. I mean, a lot of times it's built into the vehicle or they're giving you an independent device, but if you're picking up your car anyway, then it's one less stop that you have to do. Another thing is through the rental companies, you're likely not limited on data and you don't have to worry about these big overages, so that's a nice reassurance. The downside of using your rental car company is if you're not renting a car. I mean, there are travelers that are taking the fly bus to Reykjavik and maybe doing some, tours and buses and things like that, and they're not actually renting a car. So in this case, that's not going to apply to you. Another thing to consider is, like I said, if it is built into the car, then it's not portable and you're not able to take that device as you're on a hike or at the restaurant or something like that. So you do want to clarify if that is part of the package, if you have an independent modem or if it's just built into the vehicle. Moving on to the next way to stay connected in Iceland, and that is by using the company called Travelwire. And Travelwire is Iceland's only company that rents out portable Wi-Fi devices to travelers. And they make it super simple. So the pro of using Travelwire is that it's airport to airport coverage, meaning that you pick it up at the airport, you're ready to go on your trip, and then you drop it off back at the airport. They also offer 24/7 tech support. So in the event that something goes wrong, you know that you can contact and be covered. And I would say the best thing about Travelwire is that you can connect multiple devices to one modem. This is perfect for families or groups of people that are traveling together. The only downside to Travelwire is that you have to make sure that the external device stays charged. So Travelwire makes this easy by providing the cigarette lighter for you or the USB cable to make sure that you can charge it in the car, or for a bit of an extra charge, you can get a power bank to make sure that that thing stays charged even if you're out on a hike or sightseeing. And I am super excited to announce that Travelwire is offering a VIP discount for Iceland with a View followers. So you can get 10% off of your total modem purchase by using the code in the description box below. So now you can feel free to be on your merry way and tackle Iceland with the phone in the palm of your hand. Okay friends, so far I've shared the ways that you can get Wi-Fi in Iceland, but you might have some questions like, what is the currency like in Iceland? Can I use cash or card? What is the language like? And all of those big important questions before taking an international trip. That's why you need to make sure to watch my next video, which is where I cover the top 5 things that you need to know before traveling to Iceland. That's it for today, my friends. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, happy planning.